Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you guys are doing well. Is this the morning or is it afternoon? I don't know. I was doing the thank you yesterday and I was so kind of tired. I was like, that is not a good thank you. So let me make sure I do this properly. And we'll talk about some other things too. So first off, thank you guys to everybody who like sent me well wishes, telling, congratulating me and so forth. It was definitely a well rounded weekend. I had all the people that came in from out of town and just all the love. So appreciative because I don't make a big fuss about myself. That is a trauma that I am working through just because of things that have happened personally in my life. But it was good to be celebrated. It was awesome. Those type of things. So I really appreciate you guys, especially my family and my auntie Donna and my family in Indy for really like making sure I got the congratulations and this, that, and the other, and the messages, all the messages that came through, and just that, she just really wanted me to take the moment. Because she knows and she understands really everything up front and personal. So I appreciate you. Especially all my crew that came, my best friends, my family that, is in the world with me and so forth, that has stood beside me and helped me to fulfill my purpose, to be honest, because that's really what I am on and that's what I'm doing. So it is a journey for sure. So you guys really understand it and you really have seen it up close, personal. And I did ugly cry several times. So it was all good. It was all good. And my babies, of course, my babies. I cried when they left too. So a lot of crying, a lot of just good things. So thank you for all the well wishes and the congratulations. And I'm still getting them because people are still finding out about it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I want to say that. Now let's get into something that everybody needs to be aware of. We are approaching $40 trillion in debt as the United States. So that is very much a number that we honestly probably should have never hit or should have never approached. And the reason why the debt is such a significant thing and why it's not a good thing is because we have to pay interest on the debt that we have. I'm going to try to keep this in layman's terms at the end of the day so people can really understand what is happening. And I don't think anybody is really breaking it down as heavy as it needs to be, or just in basic terms. So there's a lot of reasons why we're here today. I'm not even 50 years old, but as I am studying civilization and studying past generations and studying just the turnover from like the Roman Empire to this empire to that empire, the rewrites of like all the books and just all the things I'm studying right now just to understand what to do as we continue with this great change that we're all experiencing for the first time, if you're alive today, and how to navigate these times, not only for myself, for my family, and then for my community or whatever I'll be doing as we change over. One thing that's very apparent to me, the last 50 years were very significant. So, and it has led up to today. The concern that I would say I have, and I listen to, he's not an economist, he's actually a CPA. I started watching some certain channels during the pandemic, like an accountant, CPA, that I don't even know where he's located at. It's a business guy I follow. They do really great at just breaking things down in short video and so forth, because in the US, unfortunately, we haven't reworked the way we work as a society here yet. But I think that's going to come out of all the changes, hopefully, so we can get to some balance, because no one should be working two jobs just to survive. I'm just going to be honest with you. It shouldn't take two incomes. You're always going to have single people. You're always going to have people in your society that honestly don't care to be millionaires or billionaires. You shouldn't have to be a millionaire just to have the basics and be able to live a good life. You know, until we realize that shouldn't be the case, that's going to take a mindset shift. It's going to take time for people to get to that point because they've been trained the opposite for more unintentional purposes is what we'll say. We're going to try to not get me shadow banned too much more, okay, than what I already am. So we got to keep it, you know. But while that process takes place, because that's going to happen, people are going to finally start realizing, like, that should have never been something we bought into. And a lot of people are starting to realize that because they're starting to see, like, okay, we should have never really bought into this. Yeah, you shouldn't have. It should not take that much for people just to be able to have a home, pay for groceries, eat, go on a trip, save, etc., those type of things. That should have never been the case. So, anyway, and invest, right? And all those things. The thing that I was shocked to hear is that the CPA that I follow, CPA guy that I follow, he gives an update on the economy. He's talking about what's happening. He said he is shocked at how docile Americans have been or are. And I said the same thing. And I'm like, this is so interesting. But honestly, if I look at the last 30 years, which is the time I've been an adult, or would be considered adult, even though, yeah, that's a long story. But officially, like 18. Everything drastically changed in our society. And that to me leads us to the mindset we are in today. Even though things were changing beforehand, but like the last 30 years, it was like some very drastic changes. And I think that's why we're not seeing any quite movement yet. To understand this is a time that really of great change. And so I think as things continue to get even more pressurized, there's a couple things I'm going to try to remind you guys on a regular basis. One, it's the reason why I called for the community fast. I told you guys that things were going to get more intense and we're at the very beginning. And that's why I gave you fasting. I also said, hey, start paying attention to your body because your body will always keep score and it will always give you warnings before things are getting ready to get catastrophic for you, your health, your any sickness, major sickness, you know, diseases, those type of things come about. You have to start paying attention to those things. So that's why I purposely did that. Hopefully you guys are starting to realize I'm giving you tools to use during these times right now. Also, one thing you want to watch for is if the Fed prints money. Okay? People who are in that top like 10% or 5% that are heavily invested in the stock market or making good money from stock market, etc., they are not necessarily connected or understand fully because their lifestyle is different. Sometimes they do understand, sometimes they don't. Some people just accept it for what it is, and some people's like, I just want to be at the top of it. So they really don't have a care for the other person, the day-to-day person. So for them, it's like, well, I figured it out. Anybody else can figure it out. That's another trick, though. So that the system can keep working the way it does. You got to understand that collective things have to happen in order for the collective to shift. Is the individually, a lot of us are doing what we need to do. We're educated. We're working hard. We're doing what we got to do, etc. It's not that anybody, like a lot of people are not doing anything wrong right now. They're doing everything they're supposed to do, and they still can't get ahead. You're starting to see a lot of people starting to say this now. And that's because that was always the case. But now it's in your face to see it's the case, right? So now we can start having the real conversations because now in the society, you're starting to see it for what it is. We had to wait till you get there, okay? Couldn't just put it out there because then y'all would just ignore it like I normally do. So with that being said, if you see the Fed print money, which I think is going to happen, more than likely, because we have to borrow some more debt to kind of try to pay our bills. Okay, as a country, I'm talking about as a country right now. That's going to lead us to hyperinflation. Hyperinflation means that what you pay for stuff is going to go up. Hopefully you understand that. Now, it's not one reason or the other reason why this happened. To be honest, no one wanted to correct the economy fully, because who wants to take that legacy on to correct the economy? That means the person has to be willing to say, okay, I'm going to be the one to take on correcting the Social Security system. For example, let's talk about a system that we know should have been redone by now. If anybody argues that, you know, I don't know what to say. I'm trying to pick something that's neutral, that everybody should know should have been redone by now. That is a sacrifice that many would want to make, to try to fix that and take that on, because it comes with a lot. Okay, and you got to keep that in mind in an unregulated capitalism system. Depending upon how that person grew up, what traumas they had, how much they have to be accepted by everybody, how much they want to try to get along with everybody, if they're willing to take the risk to fix a system of that magnitude. And many are not willing to fix it. So even though it's all in your face now, but it does not mean that everything that has happened before now did not get us to today, because it really did. Oh, my cat making that noise. So it's a combination of certain things that just have not occurred over the last decades. And if you go back into history of economics and you look at the 1900s, you look at, you know, when the gold standard got removed, when certain things got removed, then you get how we got to where it's today. So we were always going to have a high point in our economy, and then we were going to have a slow death. And so now we're in the period where we're experiencing that here in the U.S. Some economists are finally starting to talk about it. Some are still not talking about it. But what my concern is always going to be is people, right? And so forth. So you want to start getting prepared for the changes. And try not to argue with each other. Y'all, a lot of y'all are misplaced energy. You're using your energy to argue with each other, and you're really mad at the overall structure and system and what you're experiencing right now. And your frustration is saying like, oh, is this, is that, is this, and not realizing that part of our community is actually in a recession and everybody else is about to hit one. If you just look at the numbers, you can look at the numbers for the layoffs. You know, I'm a data person. I have to talk data a lot. So layoffs, artificial intelligence, which I've been talking about for 6-7 years. Now we're in the period where you're seeing this getting integrated in society. A lot of us have been sending signals and warnings, but now we're in it. And then you have just a change over in the world economics, right? That's happening. And then everybody's fighting for a position of who wants to be at the top, who's going to be at the top, how should the U.S. economy be next, what should be the number one thing the U.S. economy trades on, or whatever it may be. And that is a whole fight too, right? This one structure wants to stay alive, one structure wants to come in, one believes it should go this way, one believes it should go that way. You know, everybody's like has their own opinion of what should happen next and how things should be. But at the end of the day, it's the people that matter most. And so as a person that's people-centered, I will be setting up my Substack. I know you guys have been asking me to set it up, to get it up and stuff, and I am working on that. So as soon as it gets set up, I will set it up. We'll start having real conversations off of mainstream social media, because, you know, mainstream is for mainstream stuff, for indoctrination, for things that keep low frequency going, low vibrational things. If you notice the things that go viral are usually very negative, that's intentional and in purpose to make sure that you are distracted. So once that Substack gets set up, we'll start talking about things that more in detail about you getting prepared. I have already been discussing this for a very long time, if you know me personally. So it's not like anything new for a lot of people that are connected to me. But for those who are not as far as connected to me closely, we'll get more into those details, because at the end of the day, we want people to be okay, right? And to make it through the times and the changeover of whatever we're going into next, okay? So again, I'm going to remind you, like I always do, every soul gets to choose their own path. Some souls will stay in America and feel like they're supposed to fight. Some souls will leave America and do what they need to do, and for them, their family, and find out where they want to be at and help the change there. Some people will be in the in-between. All have a right to choose, because you're supposed to go with your gut and what you feel like your soul is telling you, because no one else can tell you this. Okay? Keep that in mind as you figure out where you want to be, where you need to be for you, yourself, and your family, or if it's just you. I can tell you, as people of all ages, all backgrounds, all income levels, that are doing all types of things right now, whether they are building their own communities and they are going off grid, whether they're adopting into AI heavily and they believe that's the path, whether they're leaving the US and they believe that's the path, whether they're becoming nomads, maybe they're stepping into new careers, starting new businesses, launching new things, going from business to entrepreneurship, going from entrepreneurship back into the workforce. Everybody's making changes. Remember, I keep telling you this is the greatest season of change that we're entering over the next 7 years. So try not to get so frustrated with each other and so forth. And remember that the economy is experiencing a shift. So consumerism is changing. So if you are a business owner, because you know that's one of my passions, just one of them, you have to think about what businesses thrive in a downturn of the economy. That's where your mind has to go. That means people are not going to have as much money to spend at the end of the month if prices of basics keep going up. For example, I went into the store the other day and I don't know what I bought. I think I bought a drink and I bought something else. I don't even remember what it was. And I thought I picked up something. I was like, that cost that much? It really threw me, because I don't eat snacks a lot and those type of things, etc. And so I was just like, why is this so much? And I think it was like a candy bar, something like $3 or $4. And I was like, what? I said, this is crazy, So I was like, that makes absolutely no sense. And I was just like, man, we gotta get regulations. Unregulated capitalism is an individual game, and it doesn't teach you that you have to really focus on the collective to teach you to really stand for your fellow man. It really teaches you to just make sure you're good and okay. So that means you have to fight against what the structure is constantly putting out to understand that we have to eventually stand together. Outside of all the structures and systems, the systems have to be changed though. We do have some systems to change, but that's only when the collective voice gets to a certain point, and not everybody, because everybody's not going to ever be able to do it, but a certain percentage, and then you'll start seeing some major shifts. So it was just really shocking to hear him say he was shocked at how docile Americans are right now, and I've been saying it too. I was like, this is interesting, because a lot of other countries have already had great movements and stuff happen this year. So really, this is a changeover for all of humanity right now. And it's going to be interesting to see how things continue to change around the world. And what you're starting to realize is that as much as they say it's just one economy, it's really a world economy. It's not just one thing or another. You are impacted by what's happening in the world. So just keep that in mind. I know in the U.S. it really puts you in a bubble and makes you think it's just the U.S. and that's all it is, but it really is. We are truly connected what's happening in the globe. So like Japan is having some major issues right now. Pretty much every single major country is really going through some type of major shift and change, and the war is impacting all. So keep that in mind And my concern maybe for the U.S. right now with the war is that we may get put on an island because it is causing some major havoc around the world. And as as things continue, depending upon what occurs, we don't necessarily want to be on an island, okay? Because there's a lot happening within the U.S. I think the thing I would say that I want to see the U.S. get to is to become a country and get away from being a corporation. And that's going to be better for all the citizens that end up deciding to stay in the U.S. And that would be my biggest concern. Because you can still have millionaires and billionaires if you become a country and actually take care of your citizens. Rich people will still be around. I don't know why people think people got to suffer for rich people to live. That is not the case. So we got to let go of that mindset and training. And a lot of people in the U.S. don't quite understand that yet, because they haven't studied other civilizations and economies and realized, oh, we can have balance and people can still be rich. Okay. So that's just, we got to get there. That's not how the U.S. is built right now. That's not how the infrastructure was ever built. And this is the opportunity for the U.S. to actually get there. Now, we'll see what the citizens choose. I don't know. So I wanted to come on and say that and encourage you guys to try to get locked in and stop attacking each other. For those who can get off of that frequency, that's a hard way to try to get away from. But if you can, and then alchemize your energy into other things and get purposeful about those things, because it takes more than one person, more than one organization, more than one anybody to get things done. And if you could take that energy and really alchemize it, because a lot of times y'all arguing amongst each other and y'all frustrated with what the economy's happening, what's going on. And it's like, guys, we gotta really begin to get serious about the things, because we're gonna leave our younger generations to deal with a lot if we don't start locking in and getting things moving forward for those who do get stuck in the U.S. Okay, so that's all I want to say. Of course, again, thank you. It's definitely been a journey, and last weekend was so good. It was so good. And I'm so grateful for everybody that came and helped me celebrate, and who submitted me to get the honor, who understood the journey and understands the journey that I'm on and standing next to me. So I really appreciate you, because I'm definitely in a space that is not highly celebrated, because I am, of course, using my voice for things that are not fully accepted as of yet in the U.S. But I truly believe the U.S. will eventually, hopefully, get there. And if not, we'll see where the U.S. ends up landing at. So, because the world is definitely shifting. It's going to shift whether we shift with it or not. It's going to change. So that just is what it is. The U.S. may be on an island, or the U.S. may get back into the globe. We shall see. Only time will tell. But whenever you watch this, I hope you're having a good morning, good evening, or good night. I want to remind you during this time again, make sure you still live in life. You are here to enjoy and to live and to do all the things. Make sure that you are doing your part, whatever that is. It may be just for you to focus on yourself. It may be for you to focus on you and your family. It may be for you to focus in on you and your community. Everybody does not have the same mission. Let me say that again. Everybody does not have the same mission. Y'all arguing with people for no reason. Stop wasting your energy. I'm just being honest. Everybody's not supposed to do the same mission. You could absolutely cause a person to go have a heart attack because you're pulling them in the wrong direction. You don't know what they're supposed to do. All you're supposed to do is just do what you do. Be authentically you. Let your aligned people come to you. And try not to attack each other. And if you don't agree with what somebody else is doing, just let them be. Let karma do his job. That's all I can tell you. And we'll get through this together. So that's my message this morning. Thank you again. I'm grateful. Let me get back to my long day, because everybody know that works for me. Know that my Fridays are always my busiest day. So I'm about to get back to it. I'll talk to you guys later. Be blessed.